Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, and today we're on Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf is one of the original maps that shipped with World of Tanks when it first went into open beta test, and it is still to this day the only map in the game that is 100% urban terrain. In this match I'm platooned up with Circumflexes and Sir Bosch. I'm in my Type 59, very rare Chinese Tier 8 premium medium tank. Circumflexes and Foch are both trying to prove a point in their T-34-3s, which is also a significantly less rare Chinese Tier 8 premium medium tank, and also nowhere near as good as the Type 59. The T-34-3 you can buy in the gift shop. Anybody can get their hands on a T-34-3. The Type 59 is no longer available. You can still get it, but it tends to be given away as a prize in contests run by Wargaming. It's never going to go on sale in the gift shop again. If you don't already have one, the chances of you getting one are fairly slim. It's got a 100mm gun as opposed to the 122mm gun on the T-34-3, but it has the edge in mobility and it has way better armour. Of course, if you're good enough, you can make anything work, and let it not be said that Circumflexes is not good enough, and neither's Foch for that matter. Now, the team have pretty much entirely come over the top of this hill, and a little bit slow on the uptake. I'm only just realising it now. So we cannot afford to hang around up here. We're doing alright, we're beating the enemy team 3-0, but that's purely because of overwhelming force of numbers up here. And there goes an arty, and somebody got him before me. They're already starting to cap. We have got to get off this hill. I mean, look at this. Look at this pain train coming over the top of this hill. You just do not want to be one of these enemy tanks coming down here. It is a bad place to be. But they're capping. We've got to get off this hill. We've got to get down and interrupt the cap. Circumflexes has seen it. He's already managed to get down and past them. He's taken some damage doing it. I've got to back him up. It's going to take some skillful driving to get past this crush of tanks, and I'll take a shot at this Tiger 2, blow his tracks off, but I'm not hanging around. And even though I didn't do a single point of damage to that Tiger 2, he is about to get obliterated, there he is, he's gone, by the rest of my team coming down off that hill, and because I immobilised him as I drove past, I get 50% of all the XP and the credits that my team got for killing that guy, and that is going to be the major source of my XP and credits for this game. That one shot that didn't actually do any damage. Speaking of shots that don't do damage, shot went wide, bounced off the side of the turret of the T-28 prototype, but I'm not going to hang around. They'll kill him eventually. I've got to get into the cap, and Circumflexes has already started to go to work, resetting, giving us some breathing space. Again, he took more damage doing it, but it needed to be done. So he's done the duty hero bit, he's reset the cap, given us some breathing space, but I'm here now, give them something else to shoot at. Take some of the pressure off him. Take a shot at the Tiger P, it went through a concrete post in front of him, and didn't leave enough penetration to get through the armour of the tank, but hey, plenty of them there. Bounce a shot, put one into the lurver, pull back, and it's just a matter of time now, and seeing how much damage we can do to them before the rest of the team eventually catch up. Oh, and again, bounced off the lurver. That's unfortunate. But again, I am shooting through cover to get to him. He puts one into me, reload, finish him off. Hellcat, Panther 2. Not for much longer. Good stuff. Working them over. Trying to keep the gun firing the second it's reloaded. Go for a bit of side scraping there. Lower plate of the Panther 2. Oh, he's coming around to get me. It's no problem. I've got the health. He doesn't. Straight through. His machine gun pull. Bang. Game over. Of course, Type 59 drivers don't have any problem driving on an urban map like Himmelsdorf. Artillery, on the other hand, not so much. Or so you'd think. This is Tomilist in his S51. It's a tier 7 artillery. He's on Himmelsdorf, and it's a tier 9 match. Now, my saying that most artillery players don't like playing on Himmelsdorf is probably not going to come as a great surprise, and there's a good reason for it. There are very, very few clear lines of fire for artillery to actually put their guns to work on Himmelsdorf, and there is absolutely nowhere for them to hide. However, pay careful attention, even, in fact especially, if you don't play artillery, because what you're going to see in this replay, certainly at first, is the difficulty, even on the top of the hill where there is very little actual cover, the difficulty that artillery have in landing effective shots. And you can, from watching this, especially if you don't drive artillery yourself, learn the spots where you're mostly artillery safe, even on the top of the hill at Himmelsdorf. Of course, while you're watching the problems that Tomilist has, trying to find some place where you can fire a shot, whereas arc isn't blocked, bear in mind that not all artillery is the same. Some artillery have a particularly high ballistic arc when they fire their shot, and can manage to land a shot over cover and still hit you. Some of the British artillery, like the Sexton for example, is notorious for it. FV304 is also entirely capable of firing from Tomilist's position and still getting some effective shots in. The S51, other big artillery pieces like that, not so much. Tomilist has fired perhaps one shot so far, and he's done no damage whatsoever. He just cannot find an effective angle from which to take a shot. Of course, your problems don't end there, because you're firing up over the crest of a hill. If you have a look at the map, he has a bunch of friendly tanks sitting clustered on the top of the road at the crest of the hill itself. These guys could easily catch a shot in the back of their turrets if he fires without taking this into account. The ballistic arc of the shot that he fires, even though it isn't a direct fire weapon, because he's having to fire up over the top of the hill, any tanks sitting on the crest of the hill are in an incredibly vulnerable position, and he could easily accidentally smack them in the back of the turret with an unobserved shot as he tries to lob a shot over them into these enemy tanks over here. But right now, potential friendly fire is the least of his problems, because there's a Jagdpanther. Okay, doesn't have to worry about the Jagdpanther after all. But he is being outflanked, and the enemy team are capping. The guys on the hill are basically, they're getting their asses kicked. The enemy team are managing to split them up and outnumber them in lots and lots of little 2 or 3 on 1 fights. The hill is lost, and there's not a massive amount that Tomilist can do about it. He does have a clear line of fire on the cap, but there's nobody spotting, so he has to use his own judgment, picks a likely spot for an enemy tank to be hiding, waits for it to aim, crosses his fingers, fires, nobody there. Bit of indecision here. You can see he's looking at the T43 and the WZ120. They're heading for the cap. He turns around, thinks, I need to support the guys on top of the hill. Oh, perhaps not. T34 is now a one-shot kill. The E75 was taking hits. They're outnumbered 2 to 1 up there, so he decides, screw it, I'm heading for the cap. Now, based on the information that was available to him at the time he turned around and looked, this is a wise choice. But don't write off that T34 and E75 just yet. They are actually doing a fantastic job of digging in, holding on, and selling their lives dearly. Outnumbered and on low health or not, those two guys are going to do a really, really good job of slowing down and occupying the attention of the majority of the enemy team who are still on the hill. Tomilist keeps looking back, and I don't know, maybe he's regretting his decision to abandon those two guys to their fate, but as you've seen from the beginning of the game, he didn't have effective fire on the top of the hill, even from that position at the bottom of the road, so this is still probably the best thing to do. The WZ120 and the T43 have found the one enemy tank in the cap. It's an IS, and between the two of them they're taking him apart piece by piece. They've just lost the T34. It's just the E75 up there now, but he's going down fighting, and now they've got the cap. Now at this point they know that all of the remaining enemy tanks are on top of the hill. The WZ120 is starting the cap. The T43 really needs to get in there with him. Tom List takes a pretty desperate shot to try to support that E75 up there. To no avail, E75's gone down. Now, the single biggest threat that they face is that Leopard prototype. All the remaining enemy tanks are on top of the hill, but the Leopard prototype is the fast one. Now, it's encounter, not a random battle, and in encounter it takes 3 times longer to fill up the cap counter. So they really do have to get all 3 of them into that cap circle. The T43's in there now. Tom List has to get in there as well. But that Leopard prototype is going to be the big, big danger. He is easily fast enough to get back here and interrupt. The WZ120 has the majority of the capture points at the moment. Obviously, Tom List as the last one into the cap circle. He is the one that they can afford to lose because he doesn't have as many capture points as the other 2. If they manage to land a hit on that WZ120, this game is over. There's no way they can recover from that. T43 had positioned himself to cover the WZ120's arse, but the WZ120 for some reason moves out of the way. And then there's the Leopard. He fires, he misses, and the WZ120 kicks his arse. Well, okay. Things just got very interesting, but there's still 3 enemy tanks, a KV-3, an E75, and a T-34. Well, I didn't see that one coming. But they still have a KV-3 and an E75. They only have to hit one of them once. Oh shit, there's the KV-3, and Tom List hasn't reloaded, and the KV-3 misses. Unbelievable. And Tom List is thinking, well, I'm dead now. And he bounces. And the E75 turns up. Too little, too late. Yeah, I think we can safely say they scraped through that one by the skin of their teeth. Meanwhile, it's back to me. This is Winter Himmelsdorf, or Himmelsdorf on ice as I like to call it. And I'm in my 110, it's a tier 8 Chinese heavy tank. The 110 has an unusual choice of top gun. It's a 100mm tank gun. It's more of a medium tank gun. The Chinese are funny like that. They give all their medium tanks heavy tank guns, and they give this thing a medium tank gun. Oh, China, you so silly. We're on Himmelsdorf again, obviously. That's the focus of the video. And top tier heavy tank with very good frontal armour and an incredibly bouncy front turret, and I elect to head down the 8 line on heavy tank lane and defend against any enemies pushing up this road. The majority of the team are heading for the hill. Due to the fact that this is a 100mm gun and not one of the big 122mm guns, I don't really mind wasting shots blowing away cover like that can interfere with consecutive shots, because it does reload relatively quickly. This game was an unusual one. Well, I say it was an unusual one. I'm with Quickie Baby in this match. He's in his Object 416, and right there, he's been spotted, and this Type 59, this happens to me depressingly often. Type 59 has just spotted a celebrity, and he is going to throw his tank away to be able to be the one to say, yay, I killed Quickie Baby. And yeah, I did say this was an unusual match, but the only thing unusual about this was that it happened to Quickie Baby instead of me. So, pretty terrible start to the game. I came down here to defend against an attack that never appeared. Quickie Baby's just got YOLO'd by a Type 59. 1375 kills him for his trouble. I then start taking hits from the hill. There's an AMX 5100 up there putting shot after shot into me. He backs off. I get my tracks back up. I've got to get out of here. My apologies to the Stuart and Mill, but he appears to completely understand the problem that I'm having. He backs off, gives me space to move. Thank you very much if you're watching this video. Didn't mean to drive into you, but I was getting shot. And I've got to get out of here, and I know I'm going to take another hit. And there it is. Almost sets me on fire. So, I came down to defend against an enemy rush that just never happened. I've lost half of my health. Quickie Baby's been YOLO'd. Half of the team are dead, and I have not done a single point of damage to any enemy tanks. It's a pretty disastrous game for me so far. But the overall situation is, even though we're losing, it's not terrible. They've got a Nasson and a Lux over in the cap. We've got a 1375 going hunting for them, so we've got some breathing space over there. The guys on the top of the hill are in danger of being surrounded, and they are outnumbered. But because the enemy team didn't send anybody down the 8 line, where I initially went to defend, the rest of our team have managed to go down there, get around behind them, and are coming up the hill on the other side. So if the guys up top here can just dig in and hold on and deny the enemy team the opportunity to get off the hill, we can get them surrounded and turn this game around. So as a top tier heavy tank, I'm coming up here to throw my weight behind the defenders, who are doing a pretty damn good job. That T-34 and the Jackson are putting effective fire in, but they are the thin red line up here. Oh, and the Jackson just took a big hit. The T-34 took a hit. So, getting ready for the T-34 to back off, angle the armour, take my place in the line, and stand by for incoming fire. Kill the T-34, and I am taking hits, primarily from that AMX 5100, but because of the angling, I am bouncing most of these shots. Most of them are going into the tracks. T-34 pops out, takes another shot. Tracks back up. Tracks gone again. But I can take this. You know, you can blow my tracks off all day. You're not doing any damage. And the time it's taking you to waste all these shots on me is time that you can't afford, because we are surrounding these guys. Put a shot into the WZ-120, set him on fire. He was a bit slow on the fire extinguisher. Come up again. ARL, bouncing shots off my turret. 5100 is obviously reloaded. Back off, angle, bounces shots, wiggle the armour. At this kind of gun depression angle, he can probably only really put effective fire into the... Oh, he gets one into my commander's cupola. That was a good shot. Bounces another one. Side scraping as I come up. I'm not sure. I haven't been counting his shots. He must have one shot left. And that, they both bounced. Reload the gun. Bounce a shot from the ARL. Got to finish off the 5100. He's the biggest threat. Can't afford to let him reload. He's dead. ARL. Get in close. Face hug him. He cannot penetrate my turret. He's going for my hatch. I reload first. He's dead as well. And that's exactly the kind of situation that the 110, particularly when it's top tier, is very, very, very good at. The T-34 and the AMX 5100 were the two biggest threats up there. Killed the T-34 first because I had a shot at him and he was a one-shot kill. Immediately removed his gun from the game, gave me a bit more breathing space. The AMX 5100, the next most significant threat. But he was having to shoot down at me, and an AMX 5100 does not have great gun depression. When I was on the corner, I was angled against him. The only really effective shots he could take against me were into my tracks, and that doesn't do any damage. When I started moving up and he came around to try to get a better shot at me, immediately reversed, got back down the hill to increase the amount of gun depression he needed to get in order to put effective shots into me. Only really gave him effective shots against the turret, and the turret of this thing is very, very strong. He managed to get one shot into my commander's cupola. Pretty much everything else bounced. That just left the ARL, and in a straight up fight between an ARL and a 110, face hugging is the way to go. You can always penetrate the front of the ARL's turret. He cannot penetrate yours. That just leaves a T25 AT who's sharing the cap circle with our 1375. 1375 who has had a fantastic game and is yelling for help. And yet, hold on little buddy, I'm coming. Just keep him busy. And the 1375 had the situation well in hand. He really didn't need any help from me. But hey, got to do a little bit more damage at the end of the game. So a match that probably couldn't have started any worse ended up being not a bad result. So hopefully you were entertained by that selection of games from Himmelsdorf, one of the first maps available in World of Tanks, and still a very, very enjoyable map to play. As always, folks, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.